again, day three. Oh, let me put my name up so everybody can see who I am. In case you don't know who I am. Where does it say that? Oh my God, General. Oh, I can't see it. Oh, well, never mind. I guess you know who I am anyway. Show display name. Comments. I'm Lindsay Setchell, and welcome back to day 3. January the 3rd. If we can do this, and I can do this challenge all the way through 365, we will, let me just press go live on Instagram. Yes, we're live. We will actually be able, we'll have day 20, the 20th, and then it'll start going all weird when we get into February. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. I can see there's loads of people here already. Sarah Lou's here. Hello, Sarah Lou. Caroline's here. Hello. Heather Swithenbank. Hi, everyone. Jeanette's here. Angie Medler's here. Oh my God, you're all coming in. JJ Julio, hit the like button, everyone. Yes, please. If you're on YouTube, hit that. I just need to get reminded by everyone. Hi, Angie. So you need to hit the like button, subscribe, and all that. You'll get notifications because we're doing this every single day. Fiona Francis says, hi from slightly less frigid, but still cold Southern California, Canada. Oh my God, it's cold here today. It's freezing, but it's not cold like you. Trisha Ann's here. Hi, Ramona's here. Hello. Connie's here. Hi, Connie. Aston Burnett's here. Hi, all. Julie's here. Hello. Caught the live. Brilliant. Karen, Therese. Yay, brilliant. Okay, and Megan. All right, we've got people coming in all the time. Alison Franks is here. And hello, everybody on Instagram as well. Right, now, and because you're all coming in from both. All right, so today, what are we doing today in our mini challenge? Lindsay's got to try and keep it mini, not midi, mini. See if I can challenge myself to actually not speak much longer than 20 minutes. Right, why the hoof mirrors the horse's health. That is what we're looking at today. That's what we're going to look at. This is in our foundation, our basics. We're going to do quite a few of these challenges, these mini challenges, around about 20 of them, that we're covering the basics of the Phoenix Way. So the important part we're looking at today is why the hoof mirrors the horse's health. And over the past 2 days, what we've covered is we covered the Phoenix Way, what that really means. We've covered the importance of understanding hoof anatomy, because you need to know these things. So today we're going to dive into why that hoof is a mirror to the horse's health. And as always, if you've got a question, put it in the comments. I can't guarantee that I'm going to answer it right now live, because we're trying to gallop through these minis. But I will certainly go back afterwards and I will have a look. So if you've ever got a question, stick it in the comments and I will go back and have a look. All right. So the hoof, it's more than just a structure that we all look at. And I have to tell you that structure is abused on a daily basis by millions of people around the world who are in truth trying to do their very best and trying to do the best for the hoof, but they are employing PPT, personal preference trimming, and they're not doing what they should be doing in terms of following the horse's natural constants. So you have to see it as a mirror, and it reflects the horse's overall health. And we're looking at things like blood circulation. Hooves rely on a strong blood flow. Why? Well, because there are no muscles from the knee down and the hock down. So because this horse was designed, Mother Nature designed the horse to constantly be moving pretty much. And therefore they didn't need muscles lower down than the knee and the hock. And so therefore the circulation very much relies on movement and those healthy hooves. If you've not got healthy hooves, you've got compacted hooves, you've got hooves that have got high heels, then this is going to impact that hoof circulation, that hoof mechanism. Okay, so that's a big thing. And then when we chuck in a load of other issues where horses are having their hoof care is incorrectly balanced, that's going to cause inflammation. That's going to affect blood circulation, systemic issues, metabolism. When horses end up having conditions such as Cushing's disease or insulin resistance, we can see these issues not just around the body but in the feet as well. And it's so complicated because it's mixed with diet management, and of course the hoof care, and it all mixes together. And unfortunately for most people, it's so difficult to ascertain and work out where the problems are, and oftentimes the problems are so intertwined, it's hard for owners, and it's hard for vets, it's hard for farriers, it's hard for hoof care professionals to work out where it all begins and where it all ends, and where all the main causes are coming from. And it's so very easy to chase problems. So what we have to do is we have to stay firm with the hoof care and always follow Mother Nature's constants, as well as being good with the nutrition. Because those nutrients that are coming from, and you always hear us talk about mixed meadow hay and the gut, that health is coming from there. And that has a massively significant role in hoof strength and growth, right? If we don't have the right nutrients going in, we're going to end up with hooves that aren't going to be as healthy. We're going to look at that in a minute. Stress, environment. We now know that stress can cause ulcers very, very quickly. You can have long-term ulcers that have been there a long time and they develop over a long time. And then you can have ulcers that come very quickly. Stress is a really big issue. Now, stress does all kinds of weird things to the body. It causes all kinds of stress to all sorts of things that are going on with the metabolism and hormonally as well. And that, keeping that stress down, is part of the Phoenix Way. It's about friends, forage, and freedom. If they've got friends, they can forage for what they need, and they've got freedom, the stress levels come right down. Now, that's not to say you can't go off riding, you can't go off doing the things that you love, but you've also got to make sure that your horses, 90% of your horses' time, their lives are as stress-free as possible. And even things like changes in weather, which I know that a lot of the Northern Hemisphere that are going through really cold weather at the moment, and even really hot weather, is a really big stress, and that can affect the hooves. All of this can affect the hooves, which is why with the Phoenix Way, we're dealing with all of these things. We have to make a connection between nutrition, metabolism, blood circulation, stress, and environment. And we need to link external factors, connect what's going in their mouths, into their gut, their internal health, with what we're seeing in the hooves, because you can see so much in the hooves. So I'm going to share my screen like I do so many times, and I'm going to show you some pictures that I have. You're just going to have to bear with me in a moment because I put them over on a different browser. So I'm going to share that now. While I do that, let's just give a quick hello. Gail's here. Hello. Tara's here. What did you say? It's a Frazzy, Minnesota. Tara's here. Hey, beautiful people. Ulrika's here. Hello all. Anita Pepper's here. Thank you, Lindsay. You're very, very welcome. Pia's here. I've noticed if my horse's foot sore, she gets cold when, for example, it's rainy and windy. When she's sound, she won't mind the weather at all. Oh, absolutely. Because they're not moving as much. 100%. Yeah, you will notice that. Okay, so let's share my screen. Share. If you can hear things going on, they're having a kind of cooking party in my house right now. So telling them to be quiet doesn't work. Right, where are we? Here. Right, let me just zoom out and go all the way up to here. So I'm creating a whiteboard with all my mini challenges. I hope that you can see that. Let me just have a look. Yeah. And so what we're going to do, that was day 2 yesterday. If you didn't see day 2, go down and have a look. We'll do a little bit of this in day 2, which is a bit of fun. Go and have a look at yesterday's live. So in day 3, we're looking at why the hoof mirrors the horse's health. Now, you look at a foot like this that has got cracks on it and looks a little bit brittle. You've got all sorts of things going on here. You've got it's indicating the health of this foot. It doesn't really look very good, does it? This kind of looks brittle. It looks peely. This is indicating that we haven't got the greatest nutrition going on. Is it just nutrition? No. Like I said earlier, it's a combination of things. This, where we crack at the toe, is very, very common. These aren't full thickness cracks. These are superficial cracks. A horse doesn't feel these, but it is an indication of there being quite a few problems. And what do I mean by the horse doesn't feel them? Well, because they don't go right the way through the inner hoof wall. They're peeling on the outer hoof wall. And when you have a horse that has some separation in the white line, we're going to look at that in a moment, and you have only a certain amount of horn that covers that foot, there are only a certain amount of what we call papillae that produce or are responsible for making sure that there's enough horn tubules made, or the horn tubules are made that go down the horse's hoof that are glued together with what we call intertubular horn. There's only so many of those. And when you have horses that end up flaring and getting a little bit what we call bell bottom, because we've got quite a few systemic issues and potentially some hoof care issues as well, you get stress points. And this is very common where they start to stress and open up. And unfortunately, in the hoof care world, these often get dug out. That's not going to fix things. What fixes it is going to be looking at things like nutrition, and you're going to be looking at making sure that the hoof care is balanced. So what happens? You end up getting things like this. I hope that you can see this. Yeah, you can see it. I'm just going back to have a look at that. You end up getting cracks. We put shoes on. We put what I call meccano on the foot. Here's another one. These are very common areas to get these full thickness cracks that go right up to the coronary band. And doing this kind of thing is fruitless. You can see on this one that they've carved out the crack, they've grooved it out, and then they put meccano on it. It's not going to fix it. Why? And stuck a shoe on it. Why? Because the foot is imbalanced. We've got problems from the inside, and we've got a huge amount of problems with stress points in the foot with the shoeing, and with the fact that underneath the shoe, the horse hasn't been trimmed to its natural parameters. Here's an example of what happens. I'm sorry, slightly out of focus. Let's go see if you can see that. This is an example of what happens when you take a foot, and I'll blow it up a little bit, but it's out of focus a little bit because it won't blow up that high. But this foot here that was in shoes, the owner was told this horse, if you take the shoes off, that foot's going to split apart, because that's the mentality, the thought behind it. If we keep the shoe on, it's going to keep those cracks together. But the problem is, it's what happens before the shoe goes on. It's the trimming, it's the balancing, the incorrect balancing, and there also that comes into play, as well as the nutrition side of it. So look at this, right? You see these red arrows. This horse, which was 5 years old when I started rehabbing this horse, and he was at a livery yard, so he wasn't on a track system. He had a full thickness crack that went all the way up to the top. And each month, you can see, here's 2.5 months, here's 5 months. The arrow is watching. Now you can see it's marking where that crack is growing out. 5 months, guys. 5 months of making sure that the hooves are balanced every trim. 5 months of making sure that this owner does the best she can for this horse's diet. 5 months barefoot. 5 months using hoof boots at this point when she went out hacking, but he didn't need it in between times. And then we move on to 7 months. You can clearly see that the top of this hoof has healed. It's healed. And yet back here, they told us, a bit like this one here, it was never going to heal. So you had to keep the shoe on. And if you took the shoe off, it was all going to fall apart. When you get to 8 months, you can see this bottom part now. It's starting to open up a little bit because it's getting closer to the ground. You can see it's chipping off a little bit here. At 9 months, it's down even further. Look above here. It's completely fixed. This horse had lived with this hoof crack he was only 5 years old, and he'd had it for at least 3 years. And in 8 months, we got to this through balanced, natural hoof care, down to 9 months. And here we are at 10. And I haven't got the other ones to show you, just as this last little bit started to grow out. But you can clearly see how this was healing all above that foot. So hoof cracks. If you start to see hoof cracks, don't start doing stuff like this. Start thinking there's some problems with balance. I need to get those shoes off. I need to fix it. I'm not going to start grooving out these because it's not going to fix it. Balance, 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 and what's going on inside when it comes to nutrition. What about thrushy frogs? Again, don't just keep putting up with it and going, oh, well, my horse just has thrush, because you might have contraction in there. You might have high heels. You might have a situation where your environment is pretty bad for the horse. They're not getting enough movement, but certainly allowing the heels to get high and overgrow is a big thing, right? So this is some cream that we use. We use antiseptic cream and we use thrush cream. We mix it up and we paste it in. These are the central sulcus here, so it's been really infected. Those are real problems. You can see on this horse, he's got a central sulcus all the way down here, look, where it's been really badly infected right into the hairline. You can see the frogs falling apart. This is a living animal. This is not a cadaver foot. And these horses that we come across, we've got to try and help them and their owners regain this health in the back of the foot. If the horse's frog isn't healthy, you're going to have all kinds of issues. Look at this one. There's the owner trying to put cotton wool in with some antiseptic in there to try and stop this awful contraction and awful pain that this horse was getting. This was a dressage horse, and he was having trouble with his soft tissues because he couldn't load the back of his foot properly because he was in pain. This isn't a normal shape. And this is a horse that was getting further and further contracted. And the more you contract, the more it becomes atrophied, and then the unhealthier it gets. So these are things to be looking out for. What about hoof rings? Look at this one. So these are regular rings. If they're regular like this all the time, they fade a little bit here, so there's been a bit of a change. These are showing you, these are signals showing you that there are problems in the foot. If they are coming and going, they're quite faint. They're just tiny little bits that you can just see. Then that's just something to be aware of. But when they're coming like this over and over very regularly, then you know that there are some issues. And what about when we get divergent hoof rings? Well, look at this foot. This foot was this was just before we took the shoes off to start helping this foot. This horse, and the fat and farrier have been doing this for a very, very long time. They'd been removing the toe, all of the laminae was exposed at the front, and they'd been allowing these heels to get high. Why? Because it's really difficult to keep on top of them within a 6-weekly trim, because the toe wall is slowing down, which makes this look like it's speeding up. The heels aren't speeding up. They're going at a regular pace, but this is slowed right down, which is why it bunches here. And in some severe cases, this can pinch really badly. And that's why they diverge, because this is going at a different rate to this here at the toe. You need to see these things. You need to know these things. Okay, moving on, because I'm going to run out of time. Looking at the white line. The white line is important. This is a full thickness crack that's gone right through the white line. It's quite possible that this horse had a crenna, which is a natural notch in the very front of P3, which is fine and normal as long as you don't have issues with stretching and infection in the white line. So looking at that white line, checking it, making sure that it's okay. And if it isn't, start asking questions. Is the hoof care correctly balanced? Are they following nature's constants? Probably not. Is my nutrition okay for my horse? You can't just keep chasing it and cutting it out and hoping it will go away. Here's another example of a horse that had very, very high heels. He was overweight. He was EMS. This is mid-trim. This is a very first trim, which is why you see no toe wall there, because that's not me taking that away. That's the previous hoof care professional. And you can see it's been removed completely. It's not necessary because it's not this length that's causing this tearing. You can see all the red, you can see yellow, you can see serum, you can see the laminae splitting apart and being fungally. And then you can see here where is prior to this, where you've been having, prior to me doing this trim at this moment in time, that blood bruising was further back and back at an angle heading towards the tip of P3, where that had caused inflammation around that edge there because he'd had high heels, and that was then coming down and showing us the bruising through those solar plates. So these are things we need to look out for. We know that there are health problems when this happens, and just because we can compare, this is what a healthy domestic foot can look like. This is a horse lying down, hence the reason we managed to take such nice photos of him just nice and relaxed. This is a pretty healthy foot. Very little needed to be done to this foot. This is a horse on a track. He was pretty much self-trimming. It's the hind feet. That's what a healthy foot looks like. There's a couple of rings there, but really not a lot. He's got some scuffing going on, which is just normal. No separation, lovely straight line to the dorsal toe wall, which is in line with the hoof pastern axis, but it's a natural hoof pastern axis. We haven't forced that. And his frogs aren't contracted and they're functional. So let's just stop sharing. Okay, coming back. 20 minutes. Okay, can't do it. I'm challenging myself to try and be fast and quick and not do too much, but you know, it's the way it is. So we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention to the hooves, because being proactive means, and we said this before in the last two lives, we can prevent long-term damage. If you know a bit more about hoof anatomy, if you know that nutrition and metabolism and blood circulation and stress and all of those things play a part, it's our job as owners of these animals to try and reduce all of those things. It's not good enough owning an animal and just doing what the livery yard wants us to do. If they are making us keep horses in all the time, or they're not allowing us to give enough exercise, etc., and they're making us feed certain things, then that's not the place to be keeping your horse, right? Catch these small problems early before they become these major issues. This will improve your horse's comfort. It'll improve their mental health, their physical health, because healthy hooves means a sounder, happier horse, right? That's going to move more freely and it's going to feel much, much better. And that means that they'll heal quicker. Enhance that communication with your professionals. You can speak on better terms with your professionals because you can understand what's happening with your hooves, your horse's hooves. Don't just ask questions about what's happening with your horse's hooves and just go, be fobbed off. How do you know if you're being fobbed off? You need to learn. And if you get fobbed off, you need to find somebody else who you can talk to if you can't do it yourself. You need to have these productive conversations and you need to be there. Don't just say, oh, here are the keys, or just turn up, unlock the gate yourself, go in, sort of catch the horse, do it yourself, or I've put it in the stable. You need to be there. Because these people are not necessarily going to take photographs and show you. They're just going to go, oh, yeah, everything was fine, carry on. And you're like, And then when your horse goes lame, you're going, I don't know why, because you weren't there. And if you take all of this into consideration, you will build that a stronger bond with your horse. You know you will, because you will spend more time caring about what's going on. It's not their problem, it's yours. So today's takeaway, well done if you stayed with me for 20 minutes. Today's takeaway is the condition of your horse's hooves is a direct reflection, isn't it, on their overall health. When you understand what to look for, you're better equipped to care for your horse and address these potential issues early. So today's mini challenge. Next time you're with your horse and you're picking up their hooves, and I was talking about taking photos yesterday so you could take a closer look, check for things like little cracks. Is there anything unusual that you're seeing in there? Are there lumps and bumps that you don't understand? Are there red bruising? Are there things that you don't quite understand? Over the course of this year, we're going to look at various little bits and pieces in a little bit more detail. But in these basic few early sessions of these mini challenges, these are the things you need to be looking at. Because if you see something that concerns you, you've got our free group that you can put photos up and we can help you and guide you in the right direction. But start inspecting those hooves. Take some time to go in and inspect before a trim and after a trim. Look at your hay. Look at the way that you're keeping your horse, all of these things. Okay. Thank you for joining me. Let me just go and have a look at Instagram. Hello, everyone on Instagram. Outdoors Rach joined. Singular Equestrian joined. Axe Cats is here again. Laura's here. Laura Bashford. There's loads of you. I can't, because they're all funny names. I can't read them all out. But hello to everyone on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. I hope you are enjoying these midi lives. And thank you for joining me today. It's important that we have these discussions. I will go in and I will check your comments. On these lives, I can't go through the comments all the time. We'll explore something else tomorrow. And tomorrow, hopefully, you've got an It's Not Rocket Science that's going to drop as well. If you found today's session really helpful, please like, please comment, share it with people, subscribe on YouTube. Another fellow horse enthusiast that you think needs to know a little bit more about the hooves. Show them this stuff. Let's keep spreading this knowledge and building this community, because only with you learning this stuff are you going to actually be able to take control of what's going on with your horse's feet. And that way we help the horses all over the world. All right. So until tomorrow, take care of yourself and your horse. And remember that the Phoenix way, guys, it's all about rising together and being stronger together. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for joining me. See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.